is going on, guys? Your Madden champion Stiff is back with some more tips on the Madden Championship Series. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to play the new Draft Champions mode. Now, last video I went over how to create the perfect MUT salary cap lineup for the Madden Championship Series, and now I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to succeed in Draft Champions so you guys can qualify for the next tournament. So let's get right into it. So now the first thing you guys are going to notice is I'm going to be showing you guys the Draft Champions lobby, at what I like to call it. It gives you guys all the different modes you can play within Draft Champions, and we're going to go over those right now. You have Ranked Draft Champions, which is how you qualify for the Madden Championship Series. You have Unranked Draft Champions, which is you playing against online opponents, but it doesn't count towards your rank. You have Solo Draft Champions, which is you drafting a team and then playing against a computer. I like to do this mode if you want to practice drafting. And then you have a play a friend mode, which is self-explanatory. You draft a team and then you play a friend on your friends list. So now you also get different types of rewards for each event if you complete them, and you can do them by what you see on the tiles. Right here for ranked draft, if you get 6 wins or 2 losses, that's when you can redraft your team and get rewards. For unranked draft champions, it's 4 wins and 1 loss before you can redraft. And solo draft, it's 3 wins and 1 loss before you redraft and get rewards. Play a friend, you can redraft whenever you want to. You just have to wait an hour before you redraft. It's just a thing that they implemented into the play a friend mode, but you could redraft as many times as you want, just as long as it's within the hour. So now I'm going to get into a ranked draft I'm going to get into a play a friend draft champions. I'm going to show you guys some tips and tricks on how to draft and some special things to look for when drafting. So when you guys get on the gridiron and start drafting your team, you guys will be well prepared. And I'm also doing play a friend because I drafted a team on all these modes and I can't restart them right now. So I'm going to go into draft now, play a friend, and I'm going to go over the different rounds that you have to go over in the most important rounds. And speaking of most important rounds, it's going to be your first one in my opinion. It's going to be called the coaches round, and it's the very first round in Draft Champions all the time. Basically what it is it gives you 3 random coaches, and whichever coach you pick dictates which you run on offense and defense. So basically what that means is right here we have Rex Ryan, Buffalo Bills, Todd Bowles, Jets, and then we have Adam Gase for the Miami Dolphins. So basically whichever coach you pick dictates your offensive playbook and your defensive playbook. So if I pick Todd Bowles, the New York Jets, I get the New York Jets offensive playbook and their defensive playbook. Now, based off of these 3 coaches, I already know which one I'm going to pick. But in case you guys don't know, you guys are unfamiliar with the playbooks this year, or if you just get 3 coaches that you just don't know their offensive or defensive playbook, here's my first tip for Draft Champions, which is going to be a really good one. So if you get on your coaches round and you're not familiar with the team, hit the B button to go back, and you can leave the event and it's going to save all your data. So once you go back, you're going to get the same 3 coaches that you've previously pulled. So now we're going to go to the main menu. Go to customize playbooks, and from here you can look at all the offensive and defensive playbooks, and you can look at all the formations and the plays within those formations in case you're not familiar with a playbook. So for example, we have the New York Jets. We're going to go to their offensive playbook, and in case you guys aren't familiar with the Jets offensive playbook, this is what you would do. You would see all the formations within the Jets offensive playbooks. You go into the formations, you can see all the different plays, and you can develop a scheme for that playbook in case you're not familiar with it, or you can just get a better outlook on the playbook in general, so it gives you a better idea of what to pick for your coaches round. Now I'm going so into this because this is the most important round in my opinion, because this dictates what players you're going to pick after you pick the coaches round. It's going to dictate how you play the game in general. So that is going to be my first tip. So as you guys can see, I'm back at the coaches round. Gave me the 3 same playbooks, the 3 same coaches. And for my last tip, I'm just going to show you in case you guys are not too sure if it's a 3-4 or 4-3 playbook. Once you highlight over the coach, it gives you a small description of the type of offense that it's ran and also the defense, 3-4 or 4-3, as you guys can see. all of them are 3-4 except for the Miami playbook, which is 4-3, and they're always going to give you 2 of one playbook and then 1 of the other. So basically what that means is they're going to give you 2 3-4 playbooks and 1 4-3 playbook, or they're going to give you 2 4-3 playbooks and 1 3-4 playbook on defense. So it's not like you're going to get all 3 4-3 playbooks or all 3 3-4 playbooks, and then you're stuck running one on defense. So I'm going to pick the New York Jets just because I'm comfortable with that formation and those playbooks. I'm a 3-4 type of guy. I also like their 4 wide sets. And as you guys are going to see, the first round is always going to be the legend round in Draft Champions. This is the second most important round because you get to develop your whole team and your whole scheme around your legend player. That's what I like to do. That's another tip I can give you guys. And I like to throw the ball out of the New York Jets playbook. They don't really have very good running sets, but they definitely have great passing sets. So I'm going to go with John Elway as my first legend pick. And I'm going to develop all my players around John Elway. So now the next 12 rounds, or the next, I should say 13, 14 rounds is just going to be a few of all gold and elite players, maybe some legends if you are lucky, and you have to pick those players based on the scheme that you run. I cannot be more adamant about that. Pick the players based on the scheme that you run. So again, mine's a passing scheme out of the Jets. Maybe you guys run the Jets differently. Maybe you guys run the ball out of the Jets, or maybe you have a different playbook where you run the ball more. Maybe you have a different defensive style where you play coverage, or maybe you just want a bunch of pass rusher. It's all on how you play the game. So I'm just going to pick a bunch of different players on how I pick and how I play the game. I'm not going to go too into depth on why I'm picking these players, just because it's the way that you run your scheme is why I'm picking these players. Now, another cool tip that I can show you guys is that you can hit the X button or the compare button in the bottom left-hand corner. You'll see the compare button. You can compare that player to a previously drafted person or someone that you've already had stock on your team. When you first start drafting, you are going to get a bunch of base golds and a bunch of base silver players to accommodate your team while you're picking, so you can build around those players. You hit the X button to compare the player that you've previously either drafted or that you've given stock when you first draft. As you can see right here, we never drafted Devin Funchess. We were given Devin Funchess, but we are comparing Chris Conley to him, and we can go from there. I'm just going to pick Adrian Peterson because I want a decent running back in case I do want to run the ball occasionally. So now, like I said before, I'm just going to start picking players and not really going into why I'm picking them, just because it's the scheme that I run. I like to have a lot of rushing linebackers. I don't really like it to drop into coverage because the Jets don't really offer that option in their playbook. But there may be a playbook that you guys pick where you run a lot of man coverage and you run a lot of zone coverage, and you just want a lot of coverage linebackers, coverage safeties, coverage cornerbacks. That would be something that you guys would go for. So we're going to go with Michael Crabtree right here. Also, I don't highly expect people to draft a lot of linemen. I don't think linemen really matter in this game, so that's another tip that I can give to you guys. Unless it's a legend. Unless it's a legend lineman or someone with superior run block and you have a run blocking offense, that's when I would pick a lineman over, say maybe a Terrell Suggs or a left end or something like that. That's another pretty cool tip that I could give you guys in lieu of everything that's happening with Draft Champions. So another tip that I could give you guys is, you guys are going to notice when I go into this whole draft, I may not be offered a right outside linebacker. I might not be offered a middle linebacker or a right end or a left end, or I may pass up on a lot of those key positions. You'll see that what I could do is right here. Here's a great example of it. I already drafted Willie Young as my right outside linebacker. Now, I don't want a right end. I may not want a free safety because I already have people. I may want a left outside linebacker or a middle linebacker. I could draft Paul Kruger and put him into that spot. Even though he's a right outside linebacker, when you're done drafting, I'll show you guys what you could do. And in case you don't get a middle linebacker that pops up in your rounds, or you don't get a left outside linebacker that pops up in your rounds, you could draft another right outside linebacker and just fill him into that spot, into that void, so you guys have a top end player at that position. That is a huge hint or a huge tip that I can give you guys, because not a lot of people really know that, or not a lot of people really think about doing that, because that will happen. There will be times where you might not get. See, we got a left outside linebacker right here. I'm actually gonna end up taking him, but there's gonna be times where you don't even get offered at left outside linebacker. You don't get offered a middle linebacker. See, I don't even. This round is very tough. I already have a bunch of wide receivers. I already have a QB. I'm gonna end up taking the left end, but I already have a left end in Jordan Cameron. I can take that Jerrigan and I can put him at right end. So that is a great thing to think of, and a great tip to take to you guys when you guys are thinking about drafting your draft champions teams. So now we're on to the round 15, which is actually another legend round. It's not always another legend round. It's just the luck of the draw right here. I already took a QB. Herman Moore is a great person to take. That's who I'm going to end up taking. I would not take Will Shields because I had Herman Moore right there. And after you're done drafting 15 rounds, you guys are going to see that the computer is automatically going to give you a team. It's going to input people into different positions. Just go into edit your team, and you guys can edit your team from here. You guys can flip-flop players differently. And as you guys can see right here, it already put that Cameron Jordan, who is a left end at right end for me. That filled that void right there. It put Willie Young at right outside linebacker, put Kruger at right outside linebacker, and then put this, I don't even know, Mark Hirschlick? Mark Hirschlick at middle linebacker, even though he's a left outside linebacker. So it already did that for you, but you can also switch and move these guys however you guys want to. You guys can put safeties at cornerback. You guys can put cornerbacks at safety. Same thing on the offensive side. You can put running backs at wide receivers. That's basically the only thing that you guys can really do there. And another small little tip that you guys cannot do is chemistry does not matter. As you guys can see, there's no chemistry. So if you guys are big MUT guys or MUT salary cap guys, you'll notice that there's no chemistries on these cards because chemistry does not translate into draft champion. So guys, keep that in mind in case you see some guy and you're like, hey, doesn't he have a chemistry? No, chemistries do not matter. So that's basically it, guys. You guys are automatically given a kicker and a punter. You will not be given someone to pick from them, so you're automatically going to be given those guys. And that's basically going to be how to play draft champions. You're going to go in there, draft your team, pick your coaches out, play a friend, go into ranked draft champions, play ranked draft champions, climb up those ladder boards, qualify for the next tournament, and that's basically going to be it, guys. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I would be more than happy to answer those questions. And again, most important round is the coach round, in my opinion, because it dictates who you pick on offense, who you pick on defense, because it all revolves around the scheme that you pick. So keep that in mind when you're drafting on the first round. Make sure you guys exit the coaches round. Look at all the playbooks that you've been selected. Make sure you pick the perfect one for your scheme and then draft around it. That's going to be the end of the video, guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my last MUT salary cap video on how to build the perfect MUT salary cap lineup, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adio.